They called Earth the weakest world, then watched them rewrite the rules of war. Before the next move, share this if you believe the galaxy needs to see what humans are made of. Enjoy the story. The Zarconi battlecruiser Dominion's Edge emerged from Quantum Fold at an unremarkable solar system's edge. Commander Marcus Veylan stood at the observation deck, 6 eyes tracking the blue-green marble hanging in space. "Earth," he murmured. Such a primitive name for such a primitive world. His crew moved with practiced ease veterans who had conquered 17 star systems. This would be their 18th. The easiest yet. First Officer Kara Miles approached. "Commander, orbital analysis complete. Defensive capabilities are minimal. Nuclear weapons, kinetic projectiles, conventional aircraft. Their most advanced platform appears to be a research station." Her voice carried disdain for inferior species. "Our shields wouldn't register their strongest weapons." Marcus nodded. Primitive species followed the same trajectory: tribal conflicts, resource wars, eventually transcendence or extinction. Earth clearly hadn't reached transcendence. "Sir," called Chief Tactician Ral Voss, "transmission from planet's surface." Static resolved into a clear voice. Female speaking English. "Unknown vessels at our system's edge. This is Admiral Rebecca Torres of Earth Orbital Defense Command. We have detected your presence. You are not authorized to enter Earth space. State your intentions immediately." The bridge fell silent. Marcus felt his breathing sac contract with surprise. Their stealth fields were military-grade, capable of fooling sensor arrays, decades more advanced than anything Earth possessed. Marcus recovered quickly. "Open a channel. Unknown source, this is Commander Marcus Veylan of the Zarconi Imperial Fleet. Your detection capabilities are noteworthy. However, your defensive posture is unnecessary. We offer civilization's benefits to your developing world." The response came immediately. "Commander Veylan, your offer is declined. You have 48 hours to withdraw beyond our heliopause. After that, we cannot guarantee your safety." Laughter rippled across the bridge. "Cannot guarantee your safety?" From a species that barely learned to leave their atmosphere. "Admiral Torres, I appreciate your spirit. However, the Zarconi Empire has brought order to 43 star systems. Your world possesses valuable resources. Cooperation ensures survival and prosperity. Resistance ensures difficulties." When Torres spoke again, her voice carried an edge that made Marcus's exoskeleton itch. "Commander, I want something absolutely clear. Earth has been preparing for this moment far longer than you realize. We are not the helpless primitives your intelligence suggests. This is your only warning. Leave now." The transmission ended. Marcus stared at the viewport, his reflection suddenly less confident. Impossible. Earth was Level 3 civilization, barely capable of interplanetary travel. "Signal the fleet. Prepare for orbital approach. These humans need to see exactly what they're refusing." But as the massive Zarconi fleet descended toward Earth, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that Admiral Torres sounded disturbingly confident for someone facing impossible odds. The war room beneath Mount Cheyenne fell silent as Admiral Torres ended transmission. Around the holographic display, senior officers from 12 nations watched the alien fleet approach. "Well," said General David Cross, "that went as expected." Torres nodded. "Sentinel protocol active. All platforms online. Ground facilities at combat readiness." She studied the alien ship's red dots descending through their outer system. "Dr. Park status on special preparations." Dr. Evelyn Park looked up from monitoring equipment. "Aurora Array charging ahead of schedule. Resonance cascade generators stable. Our improvements to their technology ready for field testing." Above, the Zarconi fleet maintained perfect formation. Marcus had arrayed forces in classic intimidation pattern battlecruisers, centered destroyers forming perimeter. Textbook Imperial Doctrine. Marcus observed Earth's defensive preparations. 17 orbital platforms, reported Rao with amusement. Combined firepower equivalent to perhaps 3 destroyer secondary batteries. Kara stepped closer to the display. Sir, their defensive array seems oddly distributed. Most species concentrate strongest weapons protecting population centers. Humans scattered assets almost randomly. Marcus glanced at her. Of all his officers, Kara possessed the sharpest tactical mind. But what could Earth hide? Perhaps they lack strategic coordination, suggested Rao. Fragmented governments competing militaries. On the planet below, Torres had a different conversation. Phase 2 activation in 30 seconds. Remember, this must look natural. Our platforms need to appear desperate. Psychological profiles suggest Zarconi Command relies on perceived technological superiority, added Dr. Park. Their engagement pattern assumes enemy panic when confronted with overwhelming odds. Cross smiled grimly. Then let's not disappoint. All stations begin Phase 2. Across Earth's surface and orbital space, humanity's visible defenses erupted into frantic activity. Missile batteries swiveled toward the approaching fleet. Fighter squadrons scrambled. 17 orbital platforms adjusted positioning with apparent desperation. To Marcus, the display was pitiful. They're actually coordinating defense. Look at fighter formations. Completely inadequate for space combat. Signal the fleet. Deploy attack formation, but hold fire. Let them see what they're facing. The Zarconi fleet spread across Earth's orbital space like metallic constellation. 300 warships, each larger than Earth's biggest platform. Raw power display intended to crush enemy morale. But underground Torres was smiling. Their positioning exactly as predicted. Dr. Park confirmed targeting solutions. Locked and verified. Their formation places 60% directly over Aurora Array convergence points. Park's fingers moved with precision. Commander Veylan follows Zarconi doctrine perfectly. Of course he does, said Cross. 15 years intercepted communications captured scout probes' behavioral analysis. We know how they think better than they know how we think. Torres activated her communicator. Lieutenant Cole, this is Admiral Torres. Sentinel teams cleared for combat deployment. Remember, stay small, fast alive. Make them think they're fighting children with toys. Lieutenant Aaron Cole sealed his helmet, feeling Sentinel armor systems activate. The suit was Earth's most guarded secret fusion of human engineering with technology from 3 alien species. To external sensors, it appeared as advanced flight suit. In reality, it transformed him into something far more dangerous. Around him, 47 other pilots prepared for launch. They represented humanity's real capability, but Zarconi would see only desperate humans in primitive suits. Marcus watched small craft emerging from Earth's surface with pity. Atmospheric fighters, single-pilot vehicles. They can't possibly engage our fleet effectively. Torres's voice filled the bridge. Commander Veylan, this is your final opportunity to withdraw. Our defensive systems are now active. Any hostile action will be met with appropriate force. Marcus laughed. Appropriate force. Activate defensive screens. Show these humans what appropriate force actually means. As Zarconi shields flickered around their fleet, Marcus failed to notice subtle energy readings from Earth's surface. Dr. Park, monitoring from underground, allowed herself a small smile. Aurora Array reading full resonance with their shield harmonics. 15 years of stolen technology finally paying off. Torres nodded. Signal all stations. Phase 3 begins in 60 seconds. The first Zarconi attack came at 14:27 Earth Standard Time. 6 destroyer squadrons descended through atmosphere in perfect formation hulls glowing from friction. Marcus watched confident. Target orbital platforms first. Disable, don't destroy. I want prisoners for interrogation. Acknowledged, sir, replied Rao. Energy weapons charged. Beginning precision strikes. What followed should have been textbook superior firepower demonstration. Zarconi plasma beams lanced from orbit targeting Earth's 17 platforms with surgical precision. beams struck with devastating accuracy, and absolutely nothing happened. "Report," Marcus demanded, confidence flickering. Raoul stared at displays in confusion. "Direct hits on all targets, sir, but platforms show no damage. Our weapons appear to have no effect." On Defense Station Alpha, Lieutenant Colonel Sarah Chen watched alien energy beams strike her station's hull with satisfaction. Aurora Array performed exactly as designed. Incoming energy absorbed, converted, stored in massive capacitor banks. "All stations, you are cleared to return fire. Let's show our guests what we've learned." The counterattack began without warning. 17 platforms, moments before seemingly helpless, suddenly erupted with energy weapons that made alien beams look like flashlights. But these weren't human weapons. They were Zarconi plasma cannons, reverse-engineered and improved. 3 Zarconi destroyers vanished in brilliant flashes. "Impossible!" Marcus roared. "How are they?" Sir Kara interrupted. "Those are our weapons. They're using modified Zarconi plasma technology." But surprises were just beginning. As remaining ships regrouped, Lieutenant Cole led the first Sentinel wave into battle zone. To aliens, they looked like gnats attacking eagles. Cole smiled inside his helmet as Sentinel Armor's true capabilities came online. "All units activate Phase 3 protocols. Time to dance." Sentinel Armor was humanity's masterpiece fusion of Zarconi energy-shielding Proxima propulsion technology and Venturi stealth systems wrapped around human pilots' intuition. To external sensors, each suit appeared as primitive fighter. In reality, they were single-pilot warships outmaneuvering anything in the Zarconi fleet. Cole's first target was a destroyer that dropped low to strafe surface installations. He approached from below stealth systems, making him nearly invisible. At the last second, he activated primary weapon-modified Zarconi plasma lance powered by miniaturized fusion reactor. The destroyer's ventral armor evaporated. Atmosphere vented from massive hull breach as secondary explosions rippled through interior. Within seconds, the destroyer was dying, hulk falling toward Earth's surface. "How?" Kara whispered. "That was single fighter against destroyer." Marcus said nothing, mind racing. The human fighter had struck exactly the right point to breach primary plasma conduits. That wasn't luck, it was detailed knowledge of Zarconi ship design. More Sentinel fighters joined battle, and with each engagement, Zarconi losses mounted. Human pilots moved with uncanny precision, striking weak points invisible to primitive sensors. Torres nodded. "Signal Lieutenant Cole. Begin Phase 3 Alpha. Time to show them what happens when humans get serious." Cole received transmission and grinned. "All Sentinel units, you are cleared for full combat protocols. Let's stop playing with them." What happened next defied everything Zarconi thought they knew about warfare. Human fighters suddenly coordinated into attack formations, moving like living organisms. They flowed around, defensive, fire struck from impossible angles, vanished before return fire could lock on. They began targeting specific systems with surgical precision: communications arrays, sensor clusters, weapon control nodes. Within minutes, most of the attack force was functionally blind and unable to coordinate defense. Marcus watched tactical display dissolve into chaos as ships reported critical damage or systems failure. "Order general retreat. All ships return to orbital formation." But as surviving vessels attempted withdrawal, they discovered humans had one more surprise. The 17 platforms suddenly revealed their true purpose. "Aurora Array full activation," commanded Torres. "Let's light up the sky." Platforms had been absorbing and storing energy from initial attack. Now they released it all at once, but not as weapon fire. Instead, energy formed a lattice across orbital space, massive net of electromagnetic force-trapping retreating ships. "We're caught in some kind of force field," Kara reported. "Engines offline. Weapons offline. We're helpless." For the first time in his career, Commander Marcus Veylan experienced true terror. His mighty fleet, capable of reducing worlds to ash, was trapped by a species that supposedly hadn't achieved faster-than-light travel. Torres's voice echoed across every ship. "Commander Veylan, this is Admiral Torres. As you can see, your assessment of Earth's capabilities was inaccurate. Your ships are now disabled. You have two choices: surrender and we'll discuss terms, or remain trapped until life support fails." In the silence that followed, Marcus realized everything had changed. Earth wasn't a primitive world awaiting conquest. It was something far more dangerous, a civilization deliberately hiding its true capabilities. Marcus stared at the blue-green world below, understanding that the Zarconi Empire had made a terrible mistake. They hadn't come to conquer a primitive species. They'd attacked something that had been waiting for them. The electromagnetic net holding the Zarconi fleet pulsed with contained energy. Marcus stood frozen on his command deck, watching tactical displays show system failures across his entire fleet. "Commander," Torres' voice echoed through speakers, "I'm transmitting coordinates for secure channel. We need to talk." The view screen flickered, revealing Torres and entire command staff around sophisticated holographic display. "Commander Veylan," Torres began businesslike, "your fleet is disabled but intact. Your crews are unharmed. This was intentional. We don't want massacre but needed to demonstrate something important." "And what might that be?" Marcus managed. "That Earth is not what your intelligence suggests." Torres gestured, and display shifted, showing detailed Zarconi ship schematics. "We've been studying your technology for 15 years since your scout probes first entered our system." Kara gasped. "Sir, those are classified designs. How could they possibly—" "Because we captured one of your probes," interrupted Dr. Evelyn Park. "Probe designation Seeker 7 crashed in Pacific Ocean in 2157. 3 years to reverse engineer basic technology. Another 5 to improve it. Remaining 7 years spent preparing for your inevitable arrival." Marcus felt his worldview crumbling. "Impossible. Our probes have auto-destruct mechanisms." Park smiled coldly. "Yes, they do. Fortunately, seawater conducts electricity well. Your probe's self-destruct was interrupted by electromagnetic interference. We recovered it completely intact. The point," Torres continued, "is we've had substantial advance warning. We've studied Zarconi military doctrine, analyzed your previous conquest, prepared accordingly. This engagement was never a battle, Commander. It was a test. A test of what General Cross stepped forward. Whether the Zarconi Empire could be reasoned with. Whether you would accept peaceful coexistence or attempt conquest anyway." He paused. "You failed the test." Marcus straightened. "The Zarconi Empire has brought order to 43 star systems. Our methods may seem harsh, but ensure stability and prosperity." "Protection." Park's voice carried steel edge. "We've intercepted communications from your previous conquests. We know exactly what Zarconi protection entails." The bridge fell silent. Marcus realized these humans possessed intelligence about Imperial operations that should have been impossible to obtain. "What do you want?" he asked finally. Torres exchanged glances with staff. "Originally, to be left alone. Earth has no interest in galactic politics. We're content in our own system." Her expression hardened. "However, your attack has created a new situation." Display shifted again, showing tactical readout. Zarconi losses were staggering: 12 destroyers destroyed or disabled, significant damage to 30 additional vessels, complete tactical defeat despite overwhelming numerical superiority. Your empire sent 300 ships to conquer what you believed was primitive world, Cross observed. You've been defeated by 48 pilots and 17 orbital platforms. Park activated new display showing star charts. Our analysis suggests the Empire will respond to this defeat in 2 ways, either write off Earth as too costly to conquer or return with overwhelming force to eliminate perceived threat. "Which brings us to our proposal," Torres said. "We're prepared to release your fleet and allow return home with minimal losses. In exchange, you'll deliver a message to your Emperor." Torres gestured, and holographic display showed new images of massive construction projects in Earth's orbital space, partially completed ships dwarfing anything in current Zarconi fleet. Earth has been preparing for this moment for 15 years. What you've seen today represents approximately 10% of our actual military capability. Park stepped forward. The Aurora Array currently holding your fleet. That's our oldest defensive system. We have 7 more arrays in completion stages, each exponentially more powerful. Marcus absorbed this information with growing horror. You're saying this entire engagement was a demonstration, Torres confirmed. A very gentle demonstration. Our message to your Emperor is simple. Earth wishes to remain neutral in galactic affairs, but we're prepared to defend ourselves against any threat. The choice is his. Park smiled. You're welcome to test our claims. Lieutenant Cole is standing by to provide more comprehensive demonstration. On cue, single Sentinel fighter appeared on tactical display approaching disabled flagship. Lieutenant Cole, Torres addressed pilot directly, please show our guests what you've been holding back. With pleasure, Admiral. What happened next redefined Marcus's understanding of what was possible. The human fighter suddenly accelerated to nearly 30% light speed. It executed maneuvers that should have been impossible for any pilot to survive, threading between disabled ships with millimeter precision. Then it opened fire. The weapon that emerged wasn't the modified plasma lance they'd been using. This was something else entirely, beam of coherent energy that cut through disabled destroyer's hull like paper. The beam carved precise geometric patterns into ship's armor patterns, spelling words in perfect Zarconi script. What does it say? Torres asked. Rao read the message aloud. This could have been your flagship. That's impossible, Cora whispered. No single pilot craft could generate that energy output. You're thinking in terms of conventional technology, Park replied. We stopped being conventional 15 years ago. Marcus found himself staring at carved message understanding, finally that everything he thought he knew about this engagement had been wrong. Your message, he said finally. What exactly do you want us to tell the Emperor? Torres's expression became deadly serious. Tell him that Earth exists. Tell him we have capabilities he doesn't understand. Tell him that we prefer peace, but we're prepared for war. She paused. And tell him that next time Zarconi ships enter this system uninvited, we won't be so gentle. The electromagnetic net surrounding the fleet began to dissipate power flowing back to disabled systems. Commander, Torres added as transmission prepared to end, one final point. Your probe contained detailed files on 43 conquered worlds. We've been in contact with some of your former victims. Marcus's blood chilled. What are you saying? I'm saying Earth isn't the only world that's been preparing for this conversation. The transmission ended, leaving Marcus alone with his thoughts. As Zarconi ships began powering up around him, one terrible certainty crystallized. The galaxy was about to become a much more dangerous place. The journey back to Zarconi space took 14 days. The facts were inescapable. The mighty Zarconi Imperial fleet had been humiliated by a species that supposedly hadn't achieved faster-than-light travel. Sir, Kara approached him in his quarters, expression troubled. We need to discuss what we're telling Command. Marcus looked up from personal logs. The truth, First Officer, however unpalatable. The truth will destroy us, she said bluntly. No one will believe 48 primitive fighters defeated 300 Imperial warships. There's something else, Kara continued. I've been analyzing communication logs from our engagement. Humans were broadcasting on multiple frequencies throughout battle, not to us, but to other locations. Marcus straightened. Other locations. Kara activated portable holographic display showing communication vectors radiating outward from Earth toward distant star systems. At least 12 different destinations, sir. Some correspond to systems previously conquered by the Empire. The implications hit Marcus like gravitational hammer. Humans hadn't just been fighting Zarconi, they'd been broadcasting their victory to other species throughout the galaxy. How many of our former conquests received these transmissions? Based on signal analysis, all of them. Marcus understood that Earth's demonstration hadn't been intended solely for Zarconi consumption. Humans were sending message to every species under Imperial control resistance was possible. Meanwhile, in the Proxima system, Governor Nexal received transmission from humanity with growing excitement. Proxima had been conquered 6 years earlier, their civilization reduced to resource extraction colony. Footage of Earth's defense was spreading through Proxima resistance networks within hours. For the first time since conquest, hope flickered in subjugated hearts. "Is this real?" asked Vega resistance leader, whose scarred face bore testament to Imperial brutality. Nexal studied tactical readouts. Energy signatures are consistent with modified Zarconi technology. Strategic coordination suggests advanced military planning. Either this is the most sophisticated deception in galactic history, or Earth has achieved something unprecedented. "They defeated an Imperial fleet," Vega whispered. "Not just defeated," Nexal corrected. "Dominated. Look at casualty ratios, minimal human losses against devastating Imperial casualties. This was demonstration of superior capability." Similar conversations occurred across dozens of star systems as Earth's transmissions spread through underground networks the Empire believed completely suppressed. The galaxy was stirring. Back aboard Dominion's Edge, Marcus received unexpected communication from Imperial intelligence. Director Vass appeared on his personal screen, cybernetic implants glowing. "Commander Veylan," she began without preamble, "we've been monitoring unusual communication patterns throughout occupied territories. Are you aware that footage of your engagement has been broadcast across 17 star systems?" Marcus's heart sank. "No, Director. Humans didn't inform us of such transmissions." "Of course they didn't." Vass's expression was cold. "Tell me, Commander, in your professional assessment, was this defeat genuine?" The question carried deadly implications. Marcus chose words carefully. "The defeat was genuine, Director. Earth possesses military capabilities far exceeding our intelligence estimates." Marcus activated his display showing carefully selected footage. "Their orbital platforms absorbed and redirected our plasma fire using unknown technology. Their fighter craft demonstrated impossible acceleration and maneuverability." Vass studied footage with cold analysis. "These capabilities appeared suddenly. No, Director. Based on their statements, they've been preparing for our arrival for 15 years. 15 years! Vass's voice carried grudging respect. "Impressive patience for supposedly primitive species. There's more," Marcus continued. "They claim to have intelligence about Imperial operations throughout occupied space, details that should have been impossible to obtain." Vass was silent for several moments. "Commander Veylan, you will report directly to Imperial Command upon return. Discuss this matter with no one else." The transmission ended, leaving Marcus alone, with growing certainty that his encounter with Earth had initiated something far larger than simple military engagement. As Dominion's Edge prepared to dock at Zarconi Prime, Kara brought him final piece of troubling intelligence. "Sir, we're receiving transmissions from the fleet. Several ship commanders requesting private audiences." "What do they want to discuss?" Kara hesitated. "Earth, sir. Some commanders are questioning the wisdom of reporting this engagement accurately." Marcus understood immediately. His fellow commanders were terrified that accurate reports would result in court-martial proceedings. "And your recommendation, First Officer? Sir, these humans just demonstrated they can monitor Imperial communications and analyze our tactical doctrine better than we can ourselves. If we attempt to minimize or falsify reports, they'll know. They might decide to provide their evidence to Imperial Command directly," Marcus finished, "demonstrating that we're not only defeated, but dishonest." Kara nodded grimly. "Humans gave us a choice, sir. We can report this accurately and accept consequences or lie and face far worse consequences when truth inevitably emerges. As massive bulk of Zarconi Prime grew larger in their viewports, Marcus made his decision. He would tell the truth regardless of personal cost. Because Earth had taught him something his military training never had sometimes. The most dangerous enemy is the one who shows mercy. And mercy always comes with a price. The Imperial Council Chamber on Zarconi Prime had witnessed rise and fall of dozens of civilizations over 3 centuries. Today, those walls would witness something unprecedented. Imperial Fleet Commander reporting total defeat at supposedly primitive species' hands. Emperor Vexatar sat upon the throne of conquest massive frame, draped in ceremonial armor, bearing symbols from 43 subjugated worlds. His 6 eyes studied Marcus with expressions ranging from disappointment to barely controlled rage. "Commander Veylan," the Emperor began, voice carrying absolute authority, "you will explain to this council how the most powerful military force in galactic history was defeated by a species that hasn't achieved interstellar travel." Marcus stood at attention in Chamber Center, surrounded by dozens of the Empire's most senior officials. Director Vass sat to the Emperor's right, cybernetic implants glowing. War Minister Krull occupied left position, battle-scarred exoskeleton testament to 40 years' successful conquests. "Your Imperial Majesty," Marcus began, "Earth is not what our intelligence indicated. They have been preparing for our arrival for 15 years using technology acquired from multiple alien sources." "Impossible," War Minister Krull interrupted. "Our intelligence network is absolute." Marcus activated personal display showing footage from Earth engagement. "With respect, War Minister, our intelligence was deliberately deceived. Humans maintained primitive technology facade while secretly developing capabilities exceeding our own." Footage played in stark detail. Zarconi ships being disabled by human fighters, orbital platforms absorbing and redirecting Imperial plasma fire electromagnetic net that trapped the entire fleet. Council watched in stunned silence. "These weapons," Director Vass observed, voice clinically detached, "they're based on our technology. Modified and improved beyond our original designs," Marcus confirmed. "Humans reverse-engineered, captured Imperial technology, and enhanced it using knowledge from other species." Emperor Vextar leaned forward on his throne. "Other species explain." "Humans claim to have intelligence networks spanning multiple star systems. They've been in contact with species throughout occupied space gathering technology and information." Marcus paused, choosing words carefully. They specifically mentioned former Imperial conquest targets. Council erupted in agitated conversation. Implications were staggering if Earth had been coordinating with resistance movements throughout Empire threat extended far beyond single-star system. "Silence," the Emperor commanded. "Commander Veylan, these humans defeated your fleet using our own technology against us. Not just our technology, Your Majesty. Analysis suggests they've incorporated Proxima stealth systems, Venturi propulsion technology, and energy manipulation techniques from at least 3 other species. Their approach to technological integration is unlike anything we've encountered." Science Minister Delt stepped forward. "Your Majesty, if I may examine tactical data." Emperor gestured approval, and Delt activated analytical equipment. Holographic displays filled chambers showing detailed Earth engagement breakdowns. "Fascinating," Delt murmured, studying readings. "Their energy efficiency curves are impossible. Their fighters achieve acceleration rates that should liquefy organic pilots. Their orbital platforms store and redirect energy beyond theoretical limits." "Meaning," War Minister Krull demanded, "meaning they've solved technological problems our best scientists considered unsolvable," Delt replied. Director Vass spoke from her position beside throne. "Intelligence implications are equally troubling. During engagement, humans demonstrated detailed knowledge of Imperial ship designs, tactical doctrine, and communication protocols. This suggests either extensive espionage networks or assistance from within the Empire itself. Chamber fell silent as full implications sank. Marcus cleared his throat. Your Majesty, there's one more thing. Humans transmitted footage of our engagement to multiple star systems. Based on communication intercepts, these transmissions were received by resistance networks in at least 17 former conquest targets. War Minister Krull's exoskeleton clicked with agitation. You're saying they deliberately broadcast Imperial defeat across occupied space, not just defeat, War Minister, comprehensive victory. Message was clear: successful resistance against the Empire is possible. Emperor Vextar rose from his throne, massive frame, casting shadows across crystalline chamber. Recommendations. The word hung in air like death sentence. Marcus understood his next words could determine not only his own fate, but future direction of Imperial policy. Your Majesty, based on our analysis, Earth represents threat unlike any we've previously encountered. They demonstrate rapid technological advancement, strategic patience, and coordination with anti-Imperial elements throughout occupied space. You recommend invasion? Krull asked. I recommend caution, Marcus replied, causing several council members to gasp in shock. Larger invasion force would likely result in even greater losses and further demonstrate Imperial vulnerability to watching resistance movements. Are you suggesting the Empire negotiate with these primitives? Krull's voice carried deadly intent. Marcus met War Minister's gaze steadily. I'm suggesting that calling them primitives was our first mistake. Earth has demonstrated capabilities that classify them as peer-level civilization, possibly superior in some areas. Director Voss spoke into tense silence. Our analysis supports Commander Veylan's assessment. Earth's technological integration capabilities represent paradigm shift. Emperor Vexistar paced slowly around throne. You're telling me that single planet has developed capabilities that threaten the Empire itself. Not threaten Your Majesty, Marcus corrected. Challenge. Earth doesn't appear interested in territorial expansion or galactic conquest, but they've demonstrated ability to defend themselves against any force we could reasonably deploy. And if we deployed an unreasonable force, Krull pressed. Marcus thought of Lieutenant Cole's demonstration impossible maneuvers and devastating weapons that carved words into Imperial destroyer's hull. Based on their statements, they've only revealed approximately 10% of their capabilities. Emperor stopped pacing decision, crystallizing. Director Voss, I want complete intelligence profiles on every communication Earth sent to occupied systems. Science Minister Delt analyze all available data on human technological capabilities. War Minister Krull prepare contingency plans for defensive operations in border systems. He turned back to Marcus. Commander Veylan, you will return to Earth. Marcus's blood chilled. Your Majesty, not with invasion fleet, with diplomatic mission. These humans claim to prefer peace. We will test that claim. As council session ended, Marcus remained behind at Emperor's gesture. Commander, Vexistar said when they were alone. Speak freely. What do you really think of these humans? Marcus considered words carefully. Your Majesty, I think we've encountered something unprecedented. A species that combines technological innovation with strategic patience. They've been watching us, learning from us, preparing for us. Could they threaten the Empire directly? If they chose to, yes. But more importantly, they've proven that Imperial conquest isn't inevitable. That example could inspire resistance movements throughout occupied space. Emperor nodded slowly. Which is why this diplomatic mission is crucial. We need to understand their true capabilities and intentions. Marcus bowed formally. I will not fail you again, Your Majesty. You didn't fail the first time, Commander. You encountered something none of us were prepared for. As Marcus left Council Chamber 1, thought echoed in his mind Earth had forced the Zarconi Empire to do something it had never done before. Think twice. 6 months later, diplomatic vessel Peaceful Intentions approached Earth's solar system under very different circumstances. This time, Marcus's ship carried credentials from highest imperial government levels and mandate to establish formal relations with humanity. The reception was equally different. Zarconi vessel, Peaceful Intentions. This is Earth traffic control. You are cleared for approach to Orbital Station Harmony. Please maintain current vector and follow escort vessels. 2 sleek ships appeared alongside Marcus's vessel, not predatory Sentinel fighters from their first encounter, but purpose-built diplomatic escorts that managed to look both welcoming and formidable. As they approached Orbital Station, Marcus marveled at construction. Harmony Station was engineering marvel incorporating architectural elements from at least 5 different alien civilizations, all seamlessly integrated into uniquely human design. Ambassador Jonathan Reed met them at airlock diplomatic credentials apparently earned through years of interstellar experience that officially didn't exist. Behind him stood delegation including Admiral Torres General Cross and Dr. Park, same individuals who had orchestrated Earth's defense. Commander Veylan, Reed said, extending his hand. Welcome back. I trust your journey was pleasant. Marcus accepted handshake. Ambassador Reed, thank you for receiving us. I bring greetings from Emperor Vextar and proposal for formal relations between our civilizations. Excellent. Please follow me. We have much to discuss. They were led through corridors bustling with activity. Humans worked alongside representatives from dozens of alien species. Proxima engineers, Venturi technicians, Kithtar scientists. Diversity was staggering. Quite a collection of allies you've assembled, Kara observed. Dr. Park smiled. We prefer colleagues. Earth has become neutral meeting ground for species interested in technological and cultural exchange. Including former Imperial conquest targets, Admiral Torres added without apology. Conference room where they settled overlooked Earth itself, blue-green world turning slowly beneath them. Marcus found view both beautiful and unsettling. Ambassador Reed. He began formally. The Zarconi Empire proposes non-aggression pact between our civilizations. Formal recognition of territorial boundaries, establishment of communication protocols, and limited technological exchange. Reed studied proposal documents. Terms seem reasonable. However, we need to address larger context. Admiral Torres activated holographic display showing current galactic political situations, meaning that your empire's approach to interstellar relations has become problematic. Dasha's display showed dozens of star systems, many marked with indicators suggesting resistance activity, political instability, or outright rebellion. Marcus realized Empire's control was far less absolute than Imperial intelligence suggested. In 6 months since our first encounter, General Cross explained, 17 former Imperial conquest targets have declared independence. 12 more have initiated armed resistance movements. 3 systems have achieved complete liberation from Imperial control. Impossible, Kara whispered. Imperial forces would have suppressed any such movements. Imperial forces have been occupied elsewhere, Dr. Park said diplomatically. It seems maintaining control over 43 star systems becomes challenging when subject populations believe resistance is possible. Marcus understood that Earth's demonstration hadn't just defeated single Imperial fleet, it had shattered myth of Imperial invincibility. Across galaxy, species that had submitted to conquest were discovering their courage. What do you want? He asked directly. Ambassador Reed's expression became serious. We want the Zarconi Empire to transition to different model of interstellar relations, one based on cooperation rather than conquest, mutual benefit rather than subjugation. The Empire has maintained order across 43 systems for 3 centuries, Marcus protested. Without Imperial control, there would be chaos. Would there, Admiral Torres challenged. Or would there be freedom? Holographic display shifted, showing detailed information about liberated systems. Rather than chaos, Marcus expected he saw evidence of rapid technological advancement, increasing prosperity, and expanding interstellar trade networks. These species are thriving without Imperial oversight, Dr. Park observed. They're developing technologies establishing trade relations and solving problems that Imperial doctrine claimed were impossible for primitive civilizations. Marcus studied data, his worldview continuing its slow collapse. And Earth's role in this transformation? We provide safe harbor for diplomatic negotiations, technological exchange, and cultural interaction, Reed replied. Earth has become neutral meeting ground for species interested in exploring alternatives to Imperial control. You're building an alliance against the Empire. We're building community of free civilizations, Torres corrected. The Empire is welcome to join that community, but only as equal partner, not as conquering overlord. Implications were staggering. Earth wasn't just defending itself, it was actively fostering dissolution of Imperial control throughout occupied space. And it was succeeding. The Emperor will never accept such terms, Kara said. Then the Emperor will face increasingly unstable galaxy, General Cross replied grimly. Because transformation is already underway. Earth's demonstration proved that Imperial conquest isn't inevitable. That knowledge can't be suppressed. Marcus realized he was witnessing something unprecedented in galactic history, the end of the Imperial Age. Earth had done more than defeat single fleet, it had inspired revolution spreading across known space. What happens now? He asked. Ambassador Reed consulted diplomatic tablet. That depends on your Emperor's response to our proposal. We're offering the Empire a choice: evolve or become irrelevant. And if the Empire chooses poorly, Admiral Torres's expression became coldly professional. Then the Empire will discover what happens when 43 star systems decide they don't want to be conquered anymore. Holographic display shifted one final time, showing massive construction projects throughout Earth's solar system. Orbital shipyards, defensive platforms, and facilities humming with purposes Marcus couldn't identify. Scale was breathtaking. Humanity had industrialized their entire system in just half a year. This is just what we're willing to show you, Dr. Park added quietly. Our actual capabilities remain classified. Marcus understood the message. Earth had revealed enough to demonstrate serious intent while holding back enough to maintain strategic uncertainty. As meeting concluded and formal documents were exchanged, Marcus found himself alone with Ambassador Reed on observation deck. "Commander," Reed said, "when you first arrived at Earth, what did you expect to find?" Marcus considered the question. A primitive world, weak defenses, a species that would surrender quickly once shown futility of resistance. And instead I found something that has forced the Empire to question everything it thought it knew about galactic civilization. Reed nodded. "But that's the point, you know. Earth isn't trying to conquer galaxy or replace Empire. We're trying to prove that there are better ways for civilizations to interact. By encouraging rebellion against Imperial control. By demonstrating that strength doesn't require subjugation. That prosperity doesn't require conquest. That order doesn't require oppression." As peaceful intentions prepared to depart, Marcus carried with him more than just diplomatic documents. He carried knowledge that galaxy was changing in ways that would reshape everything. 6 months later, deep in Imperial space, Emperor Vextar stood before new monument in capital city's center. Statue depicted human figure in Sentinel armor, standing triumphant over broken remains of Imperial conquest doctrine. Inscription carved in traditional Zarconi script read, "The weakest, the most dangerous, the future." For first time in Imperial history, monument honored not conquest, but wisdom to recognize when conquest was no longer possible. Galaxy had entered New Age, and Earth had shown them the way. But this was just beginning of humanity's real story. These HFY stories had taught universe that sometimes greatest strength comes not from ability to destroy, but from wisdom, to know when destruction is unnecessary. The cosmos would never be the same. The greatest victories aren't written in conquest records, they're carved in understanding that some battles are won not by fighting, but by proving that fighting isn't necessary. Earth had rewritten the rules of war by showing the galaxy something better than war itself. If this story of humanity's first steps into the galactic community resonated with you, if you felt that thrill of seeing the underestimated prove their worth, then you understand why these tales matter. Stories like this remind us that our greatest strength lies not in our weapons, but in our ability to adapt, to innovate, and to unite in the face of impossible odds. Share this journey with others who believe that sometimes the most powerful response to aggression is the demonstration that aggression itself is obsolete. Like and subscribe to join our community of dreamers who believe that humanity's future among the stars will be written not in conquest but in the courage to show the universe a better way forward. The galaxy is vast, but human ingenuity is infinite. Welcome to the Archive Voyagers, where every story proves that our greatest adventures are still ahead of us.